That's right, you read that title right. I have quit being a YouTube photographer. Now, what do I mean by that? Let's get to where we're going and I will explain all. Roll the epic B-roll.
It's a part of your game. I can see through you every time. I'm not gonna play. I don't wanna listen to your lies. I won't change my mind. Boys like you come all the time. This world is mine. I'm not gonna let you bring it down. You're too late. Had a chance, but you messed it up. It's all fake. Watch me bring you down. I don't wanna be a part of your charade. I will never let you waste my time. You can keep on breaking hearts, but you never get to me. I will never let you win. I will never let you win. You can try, but you never take it. I follow every move you make. You can keep on breaking hearts, but you never get to me. I will never let you win. It's all the same. Make it up, tell me what you want. You say you're changed. You think I haven't.
Hello and welcome to another video. So the title of the video, I'm quitting being a YouTube photographer. What does that mean? So for me, it means that I no longer want to take photographs in the way that I've been doing it. And let me explain that. I was watching Sarah Lindsay, another photographer on YouTube. I was watching a video of hers, and she was saying in one of her videos, probably by the time this goes out, will be about 2 weeks ago. And she was saying about how since starting YouTube, she basically takes 2 or 3 photos when she's out, and she doesn't take nowhere near as many as she used to take. And it really resonated with me, and I thought to myself, well, that's exactly what has happened to me. I used to go out and I used to take, probably on a photography trip, I would probably take, say, 50 photos maybe. And then since starting YouTube, I'm down to 2-3 photos, sometimes a little bit more, but not very often. And that is because, as she states in her video, you're thinking about doing the B-roll, and you've got to have these epic locations, or you've got to have the right content for the video, and you've got to have all these things that come in place. And when I started YouTube, I started it for my kids and my grandkids. I wanted there to be something that I enjoy doing out there in the world, because I'm always the one behind the camera. So when I'm taking photos or videos of the kids, I'm never in them. So I thought, well, if I pass away at some point, what are the kids going to remember of me? And it's just going to become a distant memory. So I thought, well, doing these YouTube videos will give them something to watch back. And I'm not, I don't want to make YouTube videos about, oh, this is life lessons and stuff like that for my kids and grandkids. I just want them to see what I enjoy doing, and that's why I started the channel in the first place. But since doing YouTube, I have found myself being a YouTube photographer and not a photographer on YouTube, and that's what I'm going to change now. So whereas before I'd have to think of the algorithm, the title and thumbnails in order to be successful on YouTube. When I first started, it didn't really bother me, but then I start gaining a few subscribers and I think, oh, I need to, you need to keep the subscribers happy and all that. Keeping YouTube algorithm, which, it's okay, but it's a lot of work and it takes it out of you. And I just find myself drained of not creativity, but like inspiration to go out and shoot, because I'm now not going out and shooting because I'm on YouTube, because I've got to find a YouTube video that's worthy of shooting. I don't just go out and take my camera out for a photograph, go out and take a few photographs and come home, because I feel like it's a wasted session. So that's what I'm going to change. I'm going to become a photographer on YouTube. So my photography is going to come first, and then the YouTube bit's going to come second. I'm still going to be doing YouTube, and I'm still going to be putting videos up every week, and it's just going to be less algorithm driven, if that makes sense, even though I'm not like the greatest at working the algorithm out and all that sort of stuff. But I'm just going to put it to the back of my mind a little bit, so I can take that barrier away and just get out and shoot photos. So that's what the title of this video is, and that's where I'm thinking I am. So from me, when I go out and take photos, I'll probably, let's say this scene for example, I'll have a little walk around in a second and I'll take some photos and I'll pop them up. But for me, it's how do I bring you along on the journey and show you what I'm taking photos of and all that. So for me, it's I have to bring the camera with me, find something, set my tripod up, do a little talk maybe, or show you what I'm going to take a photo of. Whereas it would be nice to bring you along that journey and see it as I'm finding it, so discovering it as I'm finding it. So possibly what I might look into is a chest strapped GoPro. So this is what I'm thinking is, if I have that on record and my mic on record, I can walk around, do my video, still do this little piece to camera type stuff, but you'll be able to see me walking around taking photos, and then I can get a few more photos of what I would normally take. Then it kind of makes me a little bit more, you know, I'm a bit more happy because I can take photos of all sorts of stuff, whereas before it would just be like, I've got to get this one because this is a good composition. Then when I'm on a chest, when I've got a chest camera on, it doesn't matter if it's a good composition or not. I can take a picture if I like the look of it, and if it doesn't come out all right, it doesn't come out all right, but it doesn't matter because there'll be 10, 20 photos going up in a video rather than just the one or two that's got to be really, really good. And not that my photos are really, really good, but you know, you've got to really overthink about your photos. And this way I'll be able to take a few more photos and be able to share them with you and share the journey with you as well. So that's what I'm going to be looking at doing, is getting well, I'd say GoPro, DJI or GoPro, I'm not sure yet. So let me turn you around, and what I'll do, well, actually no, I'll bring you, I'll hand hold. And this is the problem I get, because I'm hand holding, I can't take the photo at the same time, so it becomes a bit cumbersome. So that's the reason for another reason for thinking about having a GoPro on. So yeah, let's try this and bring you with me, and we'll just go around and just take a few random photos. So let's have a little wander. So this is ultimately what it's going to look like. It'll probably be a bit more shaky than this, being a GoPro. I don't know. I haven't had one since like the 5th edition. I've got a 4 or 5. I can't remember what it is. But yeah, be interesting to see how good they are. Some mushrooms here. Look. This is where I struggle now. So if I wanted to take a picture of that, I've got to hold it with one hand or put you down, and it just becomes a little bit of an effort. So let's I'm going to do it for this video, and then hopefully it'll work out with the GoPro. It'll be nice. That's grown in there, which is quite interesting. There's one. Oh, there's one just here, growing out of that tree bark. It's not unusual to see them growing out of things and under things, and it's quite interesting.
So remembering to talk to the camera will be one thing I need to learn when making videos in this style. I do get carried away a little bit and just go off taking photos and completely forget that the camera's there. So just so you know, for this photo that I'm about to take, I really liked the way the moss formed the V shape in the way the tree had fallen down there, and that is the reason I took this image.
So I've just got the 24 to 105 lens on, shooting at various focal lengths, at also ISO and image stabilized, no tripod.
And this is the point where I spotted the fallen tree just over in front of me, and I have a little wander around after blowing a bug off my arm to try and find a good composition of it, as you can just see it there in the frame. So I move away from it to try and get the whole tree in the frame. And the thing I really liked about this tree was the fact that it looks like it's almost reaching out and hugging the other tree, the upright tree there as it's fallen. It's like it was trying to catch it as it fell. And I also need to work on my camera placement and where the camera's pointing whilst I'm taking photos as well, because this doesn't really make the most interesting image.
Fallen tree.
So thank you for stating the obvious there. And in this little bit I'd noticed the feathers on the side of this tree, and I thought that'd make a good image, maybe sort of crime scene-y-esque photo, and that's why I opted for a top-down shot of this one. And get ready, because I'm about to remember that I've got a camera in my hand.
Do a lot of walking around, especially doing macro photography. I seem to walk around quite a lot. I'm surprised I don't get a few more steps in than I do.
Here I noticed this tree branch sticking out of that same tree, and I quite like the grooves in the way the tree bark has dried out and it creates those lead-in lines. I thought that looked quite nice. And as I start to walk along, I noticed a mushroom on the floor, and it wasn't like all the other mushrooms, it was quite interesting in the fact that it was almost disguised.
Mushroom.
It had been disguised with like the leaves and the mud, and it was kind of the sort of similar colour to the surroundings. And I thought that was quite interesting, so I thought I would make a good image. So I do take a photo of this one, and this is the last image at this location. Then I move locations in a second.
It's been devoured by a few things there.
Reason being is there was what looked like a fly agaric mushroom, and I'm not 100% sure if that's what it was or not. I'll pop the image up on the screen, and that reminded me of a location where there are fly agaric mushrooms around September, October, sometimes into November. So I did think it was a little bit early to get these mushrooms out, but with the weather that we've been having lately, it wouldn't surprise me at all. And just a spoiler alert, I do change locations and there are no fly agarics, although I do get some interesting mushroom photos, so stick around for those.
You say you're changed, you think I haven't heard it all before. I won't change my mind, boys like you come all the time. This world is mine, I'm not gonna let you bring it down. You're too late, had a chance but you messed it up. It's all fake, watch me bring you down. I don't
So what does this mean for the channel? Well, you're still going to get the same epic B-roll, and that's all that matters. Is I know how much you love that B-roll, so don't worry, the B-roll is always going to be there, and the rest of the stuff will just be mixed in with I'll still be taking landscape photos and probably vlogging similar way to what I do now. There's just going to be, if I can get something that's easy to use, and if you've got any suggestions, please do let me know in the comments. Ideally, I want something that I can start and stop quite easily, and I know with the GoPro that I had, well, I've still got it actually, it's got a big case on it, and to press record is a bit fiddly. So ideally I want something like kind of like these microphones. You can just literally hit the record button on the side and it just starts recording. So ideally I want something like that I can just press record and I'm off going, and it will just make places more accessible to me, and places I wouldn't go, like street photography I wouldn't do, because I'm not comfortable talking with other people around me unless I know the people. But yeah, so it will make places like that more accessible, but also it will make it easier for me as well as going new places, I'll be able to take a lot more photos, as I stated earlier.
Right, I'm just really aware that that's going on for 16 minutes odd now, so I'm going to cut this short now because I had loads more footage and I just went on taking photos for ages. So I'll pop the photos up at the end. But just quickly, what that last bit was going to be about is basically about how it will make it easier for me to just be around taking photos rather than having to get everything out of my bag. I can just walk around with a camera and maybe a chest camera and maybe this little vlogging camera for the little bits of B-roll. And yeah, I can get shots like the tree shots at the beginning here I wouldn't have ordinarily got. So it's just a little bits like that where it makes it, I think it'll make it easier for me. So hopefully you stick with that, this new vlogging style that I'm going to be doing. I don't know what it's going to look like yet, but it's definitely going to need to be shorter than 16 minutes. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. Stick around for the photos at the end, like I said. If you haven't subscribed, please do consider subscribing, and the thumbs up, usual, all that stuff, like and comment, and you know, all the stuff you do, which is really appreciated. So yeah, just leaves me to say thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.